Big, big.
Let's go, Birds!
My guy, Buster from up there, Q102 up there in Philadelphia. You remember him from down here in the Tampa Bay area on 93.3 FLZ. We miss you. We love you. I'm not a Birds fan, not an Eagles fan, but I'm happy for you, brother, because you put the effort in and I loved and the video. I know there was people all over the country watching you calling the restaurants in Kansas City last week, just saying go Birds, bro. It's great to see you. I'm happy for you. How are you, buddy?
Dude, you're the man, Jay. Good to hear from you. You'll have to excuse my voice, but I think you can understand what happened. Uh, I'm actually today, I'm going to be calling all those same bars in Kansas City and give their staff an opportunity to join a winning fan base.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're taking applications now. If you can climb poles, if you can scream "Go Birds" and well enough to knock down half your house. All right. If you think you can root for Philly the right way, we'll see you here Friday for the parade.
I love that, man. You are so damn creative. And I was telling people before when we started the podcast about you and your man on the street stuff and being able to like go up to Philadelphia fans after games are over, whether they're happy or despondent, whether they're Eagles fans or Phillies fans. And you were actually down in New Orleans during Radio Row during the week. What was that like? What were some of the things that stood out to you as you were kind of walking around seeing the pomp and circumstance?
Yeah, I mean the vibes were electric. I would say as far as fans go, it probably goes 60-40 Eagles.
Mhm.
But honestly, that's why I had to get there. I wasn't there for the game. I had to host a watch party in the city, in the center of Philadelphia last night. I landed back home in Philly at 5:45, changed in the car, got to my gig right before kickoff. Down in New Orleans I had to get there to feel that excitement,
Mhm.
and be a part of it. It was really interesting because some of my friends are Chiefs fans, and I'd be hanging out with them and some of their crew, and they would start the chirping,
Mhm.
and what I always thought was so interesting was the way the Chiefs were talking trash was very calm, but very confident. They would
Mhm.
say things like, "Let me ask you a question. Do you actually think the Eagles could win this game?" And so I can't wait. I can't wait to check in with all of those people this week.
Oh my God, what an incredible performance. What was it like last night after the game? What were you doing? So you had a gig last night. What was it like after the game? Did you go home? Were you out in public? I mean, Philly must have been buzzing.
Yeah, Philly was buzzing. I mean, our gig was right near City Hall. So all those videos of all the
Mhm.
pole climbers and all the craziness, we were in the heart of it last night. Now, here's the thing. I've got a wife who's 3 months pregnant, and we get out of that gig, and all I can think about, as much as I was enjoying it and taking it all in and really getting the visual for everything around us, I also mentally was like, all right, I got to get my wife out of this. um, just in case,
Right.
anything could happen. But we did take it all in, and it was, I mean, to see the city lit up in green and people shooting off fireworks. I saw a group of people lighting a Kermit the Frog on fire. Yeah. You know, Philly fans, bro. And to your point about getting the man on the street stuff, that's some of my favorite content, but it's a lot of it, is the luxury of the fan base that I have to work with. I mean, Philly fans, the videos that I do where Philly fans are celebrating, those do really well. The videos that I do where Philly fans are miserable, those do crazy numbers because the rest of the country can't wait to see Philly miserable.
Well, it ain't going to be miserable for a while now because of what happened last night. What about today on the air this morning? Q102 there in Philly, iHeartRadio. What was it like? I know you're not a sports station, but it don't matter, man, because everybody and their mother up there was jacked up, I'm sure, because the Eagles won.
Without question. I mean, I'll say this. Everybody got a real slow start this morning, so
Mhm.
this afternoon is really when it's going to go down because that's when I'm calling all those Kansas City bars on the air, and I'm letting it's going to be a little bit of a rally. I'm letting all the Philly fans chirp and talk their talk. And you're right, we're not a sports station, but that shows you how Philadelphia is. I've worked in a lot of markets in a lot of cities and good sports cities too,
Mhm.
including Detroit and New York, but it's something different with Philly, and it's not just sports fans. It takes over the entire town, and everybody bleeds green.
And you said like people are even lighting Kermit the Frogs on fire. Just like, bro, it's crazy. You're right. And it's people in Philly seem to wear it as a badge of honor, being a sports fan, right? It's not just like if Philly loses, they take it personal, even if they're not a sports fan, because it's almost like a knock against the city. Does that seem right?
Yeah, one of the things that stuck out in the comments when I was calling all those bars in Kansas City last week um, was the Philly fans being like, because the Kansas City people, while they are fans, they're not rabid dogs like Philly fans are, and so they're very conservative. And there was a lot of people that would straight up just say, "Oh, well, that's what your opinion is. I wish you good luck." And Philly fans were like, "Do they even care? What's wrong with them?"
Yeah, there's something endearing, like, oh, that's really cool. They're a great fan base. And then the other side is like, do you even care about what's going on here? We're trying to win a freaking Super Bowl here.
Yeah, we're winning a Super Bowl.
Who I want to ask you about like Nick Sirianni and Saquon Barkley, because Sirianni, this and the people were trying to run him out of town last year. He's crying in the national anthem. Last night I could see he's welling up a little bit. Do fans now love Nick Sirianni, and how quickly did they embrace a guy like Saquon Barkley?
Well, the Saquon thing was easy. It was like, "Thank you, Giants." And also, Saquon started, nobody had ever seen that from him until he
Mhm.
started playing for the Eagles. So that was an easy, "We love you. Welcome to the party. Let's go." The Sirianni thing is real interesting because it's a microcosm of what it's like to be in Philadelphia. I've been doing radio here collectively for 14 years. And when new people join our team, I tell them, like, "Hey, just so you know, like, if they just moved to the market, I explain to them, like, just so you know, you got to earn it here."
Mhm.
Like, but once you're over with Philly fans, you're over and they love you. And I mean that in every facet, not just sports, media and everything. But I relate that to the Sirianni thing. Not everybody knew how to feel about him, especially they thought maybe that 2 years ago it was sort of a fluke for
Mhm.
the Birds to get in there the way they did. Um, I think he embodies what it is to be Philadelphia right now because he takes it personal because of all the stuff that happened when Andy Reid fired him with the
Right.
Chiefs and they swapped jobs and
Mhm.
now here he is cooking him. The first Italian American head coach to win the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Pasta for
and
everybody.
yeah, throw it in the air. So I think there's a lot to be excited about the emotional roller coaster of Sirianni. I think as far as passion goes, he makes up for what Jalen Hurts doesn't show anybody.
Mhm.
You know what
Yeah,
I
right.
mean? Because Jalen Hurts is very collected and calm, no matter whether they're losing or winning. Whereas Sirianni, he's chirping, he's crying, he's yelling, he's
Mhm.
swearing, and that's kind of what you want.
How about Cooper DeJean? I mean, shout out to the white cornerbacks because it's like the last of a dying breed over here. I mean, Cooper DeJean, I said it earlier today, he's not going to have to ever buy a cheesesteak in Philly again after that pick six last night.
Well, we call him Cooper DeJohn around here because, yes, absolutely. It was his birthday last night. I had 2,000 people after his pick. I had 2,000 people screaming singing the happy birthday song to him last night. And he's a cute kid. Everybody's like, "Yeah, come on, Coop."
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Who's your favorite celebrity Eagles fan?
Bradley Cooper's up there.
Okay.
Yeah, I love his passion. He was out in New Orleans giving out free
Mhm.
cheesesteaks. Kevin Hart is real cool. We did he came by and
I
guest
saw that.
co-hosted,
That's
yeah, our
great.
tailgate a couple weeks ago, and Yeah, he's a lot of fun, but I think this year right now it's kind of not hard to love Gilly. And I don't know
Mm,
how much the rest of the world knows about Gilly. He's a Philly
mhm.
rapper. He was signed to Cash Money back in the early 2000s. He's a far bigger podcaster now than he ever was a rapper,
Right.
but he due to social media, he conjured up this whole theme with him being like the super fan. And because the players all know him, they let him in the locker room. I mean, he was leading them out on the field with the
Mhm.
flag. And then every game doing the post game celebration with the blow to whistle. I mean, so I'd say he is kind of that due to that moment.
Yeah, it's funny because actually, you just mentioned it. Kind of the two guys were. He was just. I saw a video of him thanking Cooper DeJean's mom after the game for birthing him. It was so funny. I'm like, that is so classic Philadelphia, man. I
Yeah.
I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about this when you came on, but of course, you already used the wrestling term with getting over. What did you think about Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. I was saying to a couple of my friends before the Rumble, I was like, man, I know who the guys are that we all think are gonna
Mhm.
win. I was like, but wouldn't it be sick if just a rando won it? And I
Mhm.
wouldn't call not that Jey Uso's a
No,
rando because
I'm
he's
I'm with you
not.
though. No, because everybody thought it was going to be Punk, Cena, Roman Reigns, Rollins, Drew McIntyre. Like he was fifth, sixth, or seventh favorite to win the entire thing for sure.
Yeah, I think he was plus 1,500 on Bet
Mhm.
Parks out here. But yeah. And then when it got down to him and Cena, of course, you're like, oh, this is how okay, all
Right.
right, all right. So I loved it. I loved it the next night when he came out and got his flowers from the audience. It's cool to see Jey Uso. I also try to think about it like I'm sure you've seen some of the same videos I have of like little kids who love Jey Uso,
Right.
and
Mhm.
I try to take myself back to like, I'm a 38-year-old lifelong wrestling fan, but I try to remember who I was when I got into wrestling, the little kid that saw these bigger than life superstars. And when you saw that one kid on that one video where he was crying
Mhm.
because Uso won, and you could see his nervousness when it was him and Cena going back and forth in his hands, and he was like, he wanted to run through a wall.
Mhm. Right.
And so it was so exciting to see that. So I think I love the Jey Uso thing for the Jey Uso fans more than anything. But I'll tell you who I would have loved to see win. And every time I see this guy work, I'm so excited that we're getting him now. Braun Breaker, bro.
Yeah.
That is an exciting guy to watch. He's nice on the mic, and boy, can he work, dude. And that little podcaster kid, he put his ass in the dirt.
I show speed. I sure as hell you need an ambulance right now. Uh, I'm with you, man, because the Uso thing was great. Because if he loses to John Cena, it's like, man, you gave it the good old college try. There's no shame in losing to John Cena in his last Royal Rumble,
Right,
and then he
right.
wins, and it's like, whoa. And people are gonna bitch and moan about whatever they want, right? It's always when it comes to WWE, they go, it's so predictable. And then when Jay wins, why did Jay win and not somebody else? It's like, oh my gosh, people like that are never gonna be freaking happy. Before I let you
Yeah.
go, how do you think WrestleMania is going to shake out? Because I'll give you mine first. I think they're going to have a three-way match between Cena, Punk, and Cody Rhodes. Because people are looking now as it's going to be Punk, Rollins, and Reigns, but how does that satisfy Punk being in the main event? I think he probably wants to be in a one-on-one match, but if he was in a triple threat match, him being in there with Cody, the champion, who's a buddy of his, and Cena in his final WrestleMania, I think Punk would be like, hey, man, to be a part of this would be kind of cool. So I think it's going to be Punk, Cena, and Rhodes. And then I think it's going to be Reigns and Rollins. I'm not sold on Jey Uso and Gunther being a one-on-one match because we've already seen that. So how do you kind of make out the top of the card there?
Well, I think you're gonna have, nowadays we have two main events, right? All the
Mhm.
time. I think you're gonna have the ceremonious end of Cena, the tearjerker, man, what a goat. You're gonna have that
Yeah.
match probably Saturday night. The like give it up for him on his way out,
Right.
grandstand. And then you're gonna have the next night the workers main event.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think Cena's last fight could be a three-way, but I think there's one name you're ruling out, and I think this goes back to Saturday being what Saturday needs to be for Cena is him and Rock.
Yeah. You think
I
he's
would
gonna come
love.
back?
I think he's got. Yeah, I do. I would love to see John Cena versus The Rock in a straight up one-on-one. Give me all the spots. Give me everything. That's candy. That's easy. And that's big money too. When you think about what WWE likes to do for Mania, it that you want to throw in household names, like when your uncle who doesn't watch wrestling asks, "Oh, what's happening at WrestleMania?" You got to be able to say quick big names.
Right.
And Cena Rock that's a head turner
What about
regardless
last
of.
year? Last year when Cody finished the story, that was in Philly, man. What was that like?
Oh, dude, the whole week was electric. Shout out to WWE for kind of tapping us into a lot of things. We really we got plugged into the WWE World thing,
Yeah.
the activation. The whole week, it was like all of a sudden everybody's a wrestling fan, and
Hmm.
as a wrestling fan, it was cool to see. Nobody was
Hmm.
hating, everybody was embracing. You know.
Yeah, FM Buster on all social media platforms. My brother, I am so happy for all your success. I follow you, I watch you. I'm like so proud to say I know that motherfucker right there, man. That's my guy. We've watched WrestleManias and then WWE pay-per-views together. And man, I'm just so happy for your success. We miss you here in the Tampa Bay area. Every time somebody brings you up, they go, man, I miss that guy. Man, do you think he'll ever be back? I'm like, bro, he's crushing it in Philly right now. And everybody's winning. I mean, they're winning. They're coinciding with you being there. So I don't think it's any type of mistake. So check them out, Q102. Download that free iHeartRadio app. Even though I don't work there anymore, I still got love for iHeart. And of course, I got love for you, my friend. FM Buster on all social media platforms. Keep an eye out for those videos of him calling the Kansas City bars and restaurants. If you missed it, I was still dying. I watched it 2 or 3 times. The third time, I was still laughing. Keep up the great work, my friend. Thank you so much for the time, and we'll talk to you again soon.
My dog, thanks for the kind words, bro. It's all reciprocated, and thanks for letting me on today.
You
Peace.
got it.
Go Birds!
We're not going to go there.
Go Birds!
Love